And we'll get this thing started, and I'll see what I can click on myself.
All
Oh,
right.
welcome everybody to Innervision FM on Cesar Chavez Day. Now, if it's not that day in your town, I don't know what the day, but it is here, and I guess what is it called? Some political, no, not political office. Some government offices are closed, and some, I don't know, businesses. No, some businesses are closed, mostly government offices. So anyway, Cesar Chavez, if you've never heard of him before, he's an American leader of helping, I guess, these labor people to get like better wages and things of that sort. So happy birthday to
Basically, he's a civil rights and labor rights advocate, also known for his strong stance on illegal immigration.
oh
So
yeah.
it riled a few people up when Governor Gerald Polis kind of was the bigger man, so to speak, and acknowledged some of his accomplishments. And today being Cesar Chavez Day, whatever that is. Never heard of it, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see anything on radio. Well, I didn't hear anything on radio or TV saying, "Come on down for the Cesar Chavez, get your furniture cheaper," or how the
You're
so
on
I
Innervision FM. We got Alan C. Got Hey Johnny, Hey Joe in the house,
hate Johnny.
resident time traveler, and president, station manager, yours, his truly, not mine. Somebody's truly. Um, Johnny J in the house.
yeah. So hey, Joe, have you heard of Cesar Chavez Day?
Well, yeah, that was a thing back. I remember that back in the 80s.
They brought it back, and now it's like an official. They actually told like government workers here in Denver or Colorado, you have a day off.
That was for Mexico, though, wasn't it?
I have no
No,
idea.
no, it's here because my workout place,
Well,
city
no.
ran.
What I'm saying is, Cesar Chavez was a Mexican hero, not in Mexico, not here.
Well,
So I'm
somebody took
wondering
over.
if
I,
we're
I don't know. Maybe so.
I'm
Let me
wondering
look
if
it
we're
up.
confused with Hugo Cesar Chavez. He was a Mexican national that
Well, it's not officially listed on Google. I kept trying to, but then I would call these government. I called government offices Friday, and they said, "Yep, we're going to be closed today or Monday." And it's like,
toss a comment down below. Let us know in your part of the neck of the woods that you're watching us from in the Innervision FM universe. You ever hear of Cesar Chavez Day? We've also got a couple of birthdays to recognize. Eric Clapton.
oh
He
yeah,
is 80. Gosh, he's getting up there, 80 something years old.
yeah,
Um,
80, I think.
yep,
best
yeah.
known for Layla, a couple of other songs. Tears in Heaven's one of them
Oh
that
yeah,
comes to mind. He wrote that one for his son. He
oh yeah.
lost his son at the age of,
It sounds.
gosh, I think it was 4 years old or something like this. His son was
No.
playing in a hotel or something, and he got a little too close to a window.
It's probably a balcony or something.
No,
But and then also, let's see, Celine Dion,
Celine Dion. Now, she is famous for
the boat that sank.
My Heart Will Go On.
Yeah,
We got the boat that
uh,
sank, the
yeah,
Titanic. Uh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah. And I mean, just a lot of songs. So she's 50.
Epstein Island.
Epstein,
Yeah.
she's well known for Epstein Island. Yeah, shout out to Epstein Island.
Oh, yeah.
Not so
Well,
much of a shout out, but whatever.
There's a link
yeah.
in the chat for Cesar Chavez Wikipedia.
Ah, yes.
That
Yeah.
is interesting. I've never heard of this. I've never even heard of it, man.
Yeah. I barely heard of it. Maybe in the, I don't know, was it the 80s or something
Yeah,
like that?
80s it was a thing. I remember it.
Yeah. So I forgot about it until they brought up, say, hey, we're gonna be closed. I said, what's the holiday? And I said, and then I kept kind of do a Google and say, what's the holiday? Is it or not? No information. So
You
it's like,
guys
yeah,
still using Google?
well, yeah, you know, well, yeah, Google's fake anyway. Yeah, I probably should have jumped over to something else.
Anything, DuckDuckGo,
Mm.
Brave,
No, DuckDuckGo isn't any good either.
I think they're,
Brave is good.
yeah,
To go to is good.
yeah,
mhm. And then,
anything. Now, a lot of these, they'll still use Google as their search engine. So you definitely got to do some research.
yeah, now, now AC/DC's Young.
Angus Young,
Yeah.
he's one of the greatest guitarists in my mind that ever lived. Now, the reason why I say that is he's tone deaf. Um, so man, that guy plays by technique alone.
Mm.
One note when you're tone deaf sounds the same as any other note, really. Tone deafness is not just a terminology that was created. It's an actual condition. And it's man, I'm very blessed to, even though I am going deaf in my later years, I can still enjoy a good tune once in a while. So Tracy Chapman is also on the list.
And
Fast
she's,
Car. Uh, what are some other ones she did?
mm, it's one that telling stories. That's my favorite one. It was like back in it was released, I think, in 2002. And ah, so I mean that's another good song. And yeah,
What was
so
that? Give me a reason.
yeah, give it
Give me a reason. Give me a good reason.
oh yeah. So yeah, so those are the birthdays today. So some of you guys, I don't know if you caught like some of these the NPR, and I'm really, man, it's like I hear so much talk, and these guys had many chances to do this a long time ago, but
Right.
they just didn't have any either leadership, balls, or who knows, man. But I've been waiting for them to defund NPR.
Trying to remember back in the mid 90s, there was a big scare about public radio and public television getting defunded. So they did a huge, I'm talking huge monetary drive, fundraisers, everything else to try to save. This is just before we switched from analog to digital communication, and it became a nationwide thing, actually international. But fascinating to see because NPR has gone so far left, in my opinion, along with PBS, a lot of these other
Yeah.
what stations charged with education, charged with uh, historical archive uh,
Well, the only
information, this
thing I
type of stuff.
ever found good on PBS was uh, their sci-fi series.
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh
say
yeah,
I did like
yeah,
their
Plate
yeah,
Doctor Who
Seven,
stuff.
Doctor Who,
yeah.
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah.
uh, Red Dwarf.
Yeah, Red Dwarf was great, dude. That's about the only thing I liked on PBS, man. Red Green. Speaking of Red Green
Yeah.
was on there for a while. If women don't find you handsome, they might as well find you handy. And duct tape, the handyman's secret weapon. So yeah, toss a comment down there, down below. What do you folks think of NPR? MSNBC, CNN.
Oh, and
Some
then,
of these things. Oh,
oh, go ahead, go ahead. 'Cause some of these things, go ahead.
some of these things. They fall right in line with something called Project Mockingbird or Project Owl or things like this, where information, why they're all about birds, I don't know, but information they found early on can be manipulated. If you tell a historical story, getting ready to lose my battery here, so I might have to fade away. But if you tell a historically based story, but you leave a few things out, as the story becomes legend and legend becomes myth, those pieces that were indeed left out uh, become exponentially more and more important. So 200 years down the line, when you find that uh, the stuff that we have been told and have been taught isn't real, it kind of has the tendency to shake things up a little bit. Latest stuff being the supposed finding of the Ark of the Covenant, the
I was hearing that, something about
huge
that.
pillars found under Egypt, what something to do with water going through the pillars and iron and copper and how to transfer, transmute inert uh, electromagnetic signals into energy that can be used worldwide. I don't even know. It's crazy stuff. Interesting times we live in, folks.
Yeah. Um, I'm kind of thinking of some other stuff that they did. Oh, Mr. Rogers, which he did the song like you're a boy, you're a girl,
Right.
girls can only and they said they don't even know if they could even play that nowadays. Oh, yeah, so that was a good one. So some of those things they were kind of good. And then they showed this one of this, I guess there was some tranny doing some kind of dance on Sesame Street or some kind of, and I'm thinking like, what is this?
Wow.
This is like I forgot I saw this, but it was like I
Well,
didn't see
you know, they were pushing a gay agenda a long time ago with Bert and Ernie.
no, I didn't know how that even got over to that part. I mean, if you got roommates
That
all the time,
I
but
mean that goes way back.
yeah,
The agenda has been being pushed subtly since the mid 60s, early 70s, even into the 80s. Shows like Three's Company, for instance, were pushing the boundaries even into the 1980s. All in the Family, yet another
Mm.
one that pushed boundaries and opened some doors. And some would say that perhaps those doors should never have been even opened, but they're open now. So,
Now, when Catherine, let's see, was it Mar says that over the last half decade, she has evolved. Did she sound or look convincing to you, or was it just did she look like, oh, I'll play the game because I'm really not going to be honest with you guys.
so I'm trying to think. Catherine Marr. Is
She's
she
she's the
the
president of NPR.
okay? So she was basically being questioned, I think, the other day
Oh,
by some folks, and they brought up some tweets of hers
oh
that
yeah.
she had made, and she couldn't remember any of them. Is that
Yeah,
the lady
yeah.
that?
It was books that she said that she read,
Yeah, yep,
and she said,
yep.
I don't recall reading that book. And I'm thinking
Right.
like, then why did you write that you wrote them? It's almost like, did you lie at the time to, what do they call it when you're acting like something you're not? But there's another term for it.
What? Narcissism, histrionic behavior, borderline personality disorders. I mean,
Signifying.
what do you folks think?
Yeah. And just listening to this person, and then she said, "Oh, I wasn't there during this time," and it's like, okay, it's like, so I know, and I think they make enough money where they can. I mean, they're really established, so they have all the left wing donors that they can possibly use, and then I heard that there was like, I think about 47 or more stations located just in the New York, not New York, Washington area. And then then they send out the feed, and all these other stations have to pay them to take their feed.
Yeah, right. So there's basically a conglomerate of stations that are allowed to broadcast. Let's just say, for instance, this is why they're so mad right now. But let's just say the presidential speeches or something like this, right? So what they're finding now is that with the revocation of AP, things like the MSNBC, you'll have to forgive me if I don't get all these correct. But there are some folks that are not as welcome as they once were in the press circles, and obviously you've got some more folks like Fox or some independent media. So it's a pretty cool thing to see that things are kind of penduluming back from hard left to something more
Was that
steady.
the AP that was suing the White House because of they lost their place?
Yeah,
They can afford to get put back in there. It's like, really?
yeah. Absolute insanity. I mean, I look back at this stuff that's gone on, and 4 years ago, where we were with this governance disinformation board, and boy, all the stuff they really wanted to try to get pulled off. And they actually had the House, they had the Senate, they had everything. And what the heck happened? Well, I postulate that there's a God on the throne, and he alone made this possible for what jury's still out on that one. But yeah, his will is marching forward no matter what we as humankind can possibly do or say to try to change or negate that fact. So it's best for us to just get on board, get saved today. So we got some clips or something we're going to try to get into if I can pull my email up here.
Now,
he said he found 87 registered Democrats, 0 Republicans. Is that accurate?
We do not track the numbers or the voter registration, but I find that
Was award-winning journalist who worked 25 years at NPR, Mr. Berliner, was he lying when he wrote that?
I am not presuming such. I just don't we don't track that information about our journalists.
87 to 0, and you're not biased.
I think that is concerning if those numbers are accurate.
I mean, it wasn't 44-43, it wasn't 60-27, it wasn't 70-17, it wasn't even 80-7. It was 87 Democrats, 0 Republicans, and you say NPR is not biased. How about the big stories over the last few years? According to Mr. Berliner, again, he wrote on the Trump-Russia story, he wrote, at NPR, we hitched our wagon to Trump's most visible antagonist, Representative Adam Schiff. They said they interviewed him 25 times. Is that accurate?
I was not there at the time, but those numbers sound accurate. Yes.
Those sound accurate. But then he said when the Mueller report came out and Robert Mueller said he found no evidence of collusion, he said Russiagate faded from our programming. Is that accurate?
Again, I was not there at the time. I couldn't say.
You couldn't say?
I was not at NPR at the
You
time.
didn't prepare for that? You knew we were going to ask you about this guy, didn't you? It's come up like 6,000 times already in the hearing.
I just couldn't say whether it faded from our coverage, sir.
How about this story? October 2020, the New York Post had the Hunter Biden laptop story.
This is better.
One of those editors, I guess one of those 87 Democrat editors, said this: we don't want to waste our time on stories that are not really stories. We don't want to waste the listeners' and readers' times on stories that are just pure distractions. Was that a pure distraction story?
Our current editorial leadership believes that that was a mistake, as do I.
Yeah, the whole country knows that was a mistake. Definitely impacted the election, or I think it certainly impacted the election. How about the COVID origin story? That's a pretty big story too, right? Mr. Berliner said, we became fervent members of the team natural origin, even declaring that the lab leak was debunked by scientists. Turns out, though, the lab leak is what most people think actually caused the COVID virus.
Yes, you know that. I got personal opinions on.
You guys were 0 for 3 on the three of the biggest stories in the last 5 years. You guys were 0 for 3, and yet you maintain that NPR is not biased?
Congressman, I do not believe we are politically biased. No, we are a nonpartisan organization.
He's a liar.
Now, all this is just a piece. NPR is just a piece of what's going on. And it's all just now being brought to light. Things that, we on the quote right side have known for years.
Yeah, these people, that's blatant lying, and you can see it.
Yeah.
You got to be an idiot not to see that.
Wow.
Well, apparently she thinks that we're idiots.
Well, apparently.
She's just going on, man. It's like, guys, if you ever date a woman like that, run.
Yeah, definitely makes the case for AI girlfriends. At least those are programmed not to lie to you. Maybe. I don't know. Wonder if they
Yeah.
still spend your money. Don't forget to toss a comment down below. Do you have an AI girlfriend or AI boyfriend? Do you have an AI relationship?
You know, I used to date a girl like this way back when, and it's so weird. Maybe I met her parents, and even her parents didn't tell me that she was lying about her age. When
What?
she was lying
Lying
about her age, right? And I'm thinking like, and then when I met her on this team chat thing, and so she told me she lived on the, I guess, 11th floor, and she had to swing in bed, and
Ooh.
then when I met her, she lived on a one-story house in Thornton, and all the houses pretty much looked the same.
Yep.
And it's like and then she had a baby, and then she tried to say that baby was mine, but it was like the kid had no black in it at all, right?
Right.
So, and then her mother went somewhere with the other car, and she stole her mother's car, and then she said, "Hey, you want to go for a ride?" And so we drove around, and she wasn't even old enough to have a license.
Wow. Oh, the good old days, boy.
Oh
The
man.
things that we got into that the Lord himself watched over us with his
Oh,
legion
yeah.
of angels. Boy, let me tell you what. Toss a comment down below. What type of stuff did you get into?
But you
Keep
heard
it
about
clean.
But you heard about the 8-year-old who wanted a cappuccino, and she got into her parents' car and drove and got herself a cappuccino.
No.
Yeah, so I figure, well, I guess you could be 14 or 15, and because I was 16 at the time, and she said, "Oh, I'm 16 too," but her parents never told me, and I met them. I came over, I was watching TV. Nobody just, I guess they were just staring at me and staring at, and there's like no conversation, no, tell us a little bit about yourself, Johnny. Nothing. Like, what a strange family. So, so I just assumed that, well, maybe that's the way they are out there in Thornton.
Could be, could be.
Oh man. So yeah. So she, and I don't know any background about this girl, the girl that I'm talking about family, but it sounds like this lady somehow grew up in a Marxist fantasy world, maybe, but she learned how to lie real good.
Well,
Okay.
when you say a certain amount of things a certain amount of times, you actually start believing in
I
the
had a
stuff.
roommate like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When
Just
I lived in Evergreen. He's dead now, but he he told lies. I mean, just out and out BS, and he actually believed it himself.
hmm.
His
You could
initials
be,
were JC, so he claimed he was reincarnated Jesus Christ and stuff like that. It's like,
wow,
you,
wow.
you're out there, buddy.
Yeah. So it just seemed like and I guess those people exist. And wait a minute, should I break out let's
Yeah,
see.
bust out another.
Okay, well, let me see if there's any more left in this one, and then I'll grab another one.
Nonpartisan organization. What's happening to your listeners over the last 5 years? Went up, down, or stayed the same?
It has gone up and down and is now going back up.
Well, I thought 5 years ago it was at 60 million. And you said in your opening statement, I think 43 million.
That's correct.
So 43 million now, and it was at 60 million 5 years ago. I can do some math. That looks like it went down.
And is now going back up.
It's
I'm
now
delighted
going
to
back
report.
up?
Yes,
What-
it is.
How much has it went back up?
It's
From
gone
what?
up a couple of millions over the past
Oh,
years.
so you went from 60 million to 41 million. Now you're back up to 43 million.
In a year's time, I'm very proud of that growth, sir.
Okay, you're proud of that growth. Okay. But over 5 years, it's went down 18 million.
That is correct, sir.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
Should taxpayers subsidize NPR?
I believe that taxpayers subsidize local stations, sir. That is the vast majority of what.
Well, I thought you said you got 11 million from Corporation of Public Broadcasting, which is taxpayer funded directly to you, right?
That is to support the public
And then
radio
local
satellite
stations get it
system.
from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, right? They get taxpayer
100
money.
million that goes to the local.
100 million goes to
stations,
local
yes.
stations, and then those local stations buy back programming and content from you. So that money
Right,
goes to
so-
local stations, comes back to you, gets routed through the local stations, all taxpayer money.
Those fees are actually based on private donations rather than on federal funding.
Well, we all know money's fungible, so some of it gets put in there.
So right here, Johnny, this is important to stop here
Okay.
and break this down for our listeners. So what they've got is they've got a big pool of taxpayer money. It goes into a federal coffer. That federal coffer then gets disseminated to NPR in the form of grants that go to the state. The state-run, what chapters, for lack of better terminology? I don't have the right term. But the state-run stations then get a piece of that broken off. Then, just to make it all kinds of convoluted, everything comes rolling on back to the federal government and it's recycled yet again. But the grants are where things get fishy and really get scary and you can really run some shady operations. And this is what I postulate is currently getting looked at right now by Ted Cruz and by the Republican side of Congress. Democrats are going to be dead to rights here because when they start figuring out the big circle jerk, for lack of better terminology, and I do apologize, this is a family show, but I can't describe it any better than that because that's all it is. The feds hand out the money, the feds get back the money. The feds then, in the form of grants, hand out the same money that was just spent. I'm sorry, just collected, then spent at the expense of the taxpayer. And this is the way it's been for 60 years plus.
Yeah. Yeah. And well, this one guy, I want to see if let's see if we can do this one. I want to see this one coming. And this will be our last one.
Priceless moment from yesterday's hearing on censorship industrial complex, folks. Senator John Kennedy took radical Democrat professor Dr. Mary Ann Frank to task for her revealing social media posts. Watch.
The majority of Americans hate women. The majority of Americans hate women more than they love anything, including democracy. Close quote. Did I read that correctly?
I am not sure what this has to do with the subject matter of this.
Did you say it?
I do not have those words in front of me. I probably said something along those lines, but what is the relevance of that?
Here it is, big as Dallas, right there.
Yes.
But your political beliefs don't impact your feelings about President Biden or President Trump.
I don't have feelings about either of them. What I have
Sounds
is
to me like you have your favorite feeling is anger.
Thick as Dallas. For more on this, let's welcome in
That's
Senator
awesome, dude.
John Kennedy of Louisiana. Sir, it's
Yes. No, that's like a pathological lie right there. Again, once again. Oh man, it's just and this is right
She
here.
was really getting upset.
Well, she was getting upset right there. I mean, she was, and he called her out on it. It looks like your favorite. What did he say? A favorite emotion is anger or something like this? Because I mean, she couldn't even answer without getting angry. The questions that he was posing to her, and they were straightforward questions. Did you say this stuff? Yeah. She had a chance to walk it back or whatever. And she's like, I got no idea what this has, what relevance this is. Well, because you're in front of Congress, it looks like, and looks like you're in a hearing. That's what relevance it has.
I'm gonna go back and look at the Marjorie Green. So I suggest, everybody, because Marjorie Green, I like the way she jumps on it too. So I'm gonna go back and look at her because I found out before I put together this link that she had one out. So I didn't add that to the links right here. But so you guys can enjoy. The links are there in the subject line. and we'll have some more fun with this stuff. And fortunately, I guess we can show these kind of links without them not letting us monetize it, but we just can't show video. Otherwise, I would have shown some clips from Eric Clapton and Tracy Chapman and Celine Dion and AC/DC. I wonder if I could just show it like maybe just a 15-second clip of those guys without them getting us for.
Yeah, I don't think that that's a problem. I mean, some people still will add small, tiny pieces of songs into stuff as long as it's only a couple of seconds. I don't know, YouTube gods of greatness and love and light, give us the wisdom that we seek tonight.
Yes. All right. Well, hey, we're gonna close it down for the night. Happy birthday, you guys! Tomorrow is April Fool's Day.
It is.
And,
Hey, don't pull any April Fool's pranks on service personnel, law enforcement, fire enforcement. Don't do that. Just don't do it. Just don't.
Right.
Those guys are there to serve and to protect. So
Yes.
try to be good to your folks. And if you do play a prank, make it funny, make it safe, and make it just you know how April Fool's works.
Now, and if you're down in Florida and someone says there's an alligator behind you, you might like to believe them.
Yeah, just in case.
Just in case. All right.